This is National Native News. I'm Megan Kamrick in for Antonia Gonzalez. Trump administration officials faced bipartisan criticism Wednesday from leaders of the U.S. Senate Indian Affairs Committee for not adequately preparing for a hearing on bills affecting Indian country. Both New Mexico Democrat Tom Udall and North Dakota Republican John Hoeven, the co-chairs of the committee, expressed frustration that the Departments of Interior and Justice failed to submit their testimony on time and could not adequately address the 5 bills up for discussion. Udall said the response not only violated committee procedure, it calls into question both departments' commitment to follow through on promises to adequately address issues like missing and murdered Indigenous women.
If the department truly stands ready to do its part, that's their quote, on addressing the MMIW crisis, why is it not prepared for this hearing? To be clear, the administration's part is to provide views on this legislation in a timely fashion. Both departments have failed in that duty here.
Senator Hoeven called the actions by the departments disappointing. The hearing was set up more than a month ago to discuss 5 bills aiming to improve public safety and infrastructure on reservations. In Montana, Senators Steve Daines and John Tester found a new place for a bill that would give federal recognition to the Little Shell tribe of Chippewa Indians. On Wednesday, they placed it as an amendment inside the National Defense Authorization Act. That's an annual defense package that must pass each year. It's due for a vote soon. Reporter Olivia Reingold with Yellowstone Public Radio News spoke with tribal leadership about their long path to gain federal recognition.
4 decades. That's how long the Little Shell tribe has been fighting for federal recognition. Here's how Tribal Chairman Gerald Gray puts it.
Little Shell leadership and the council have been working tirelessly for this moment.
Then Senator Daines and Senator Tester found a new home for the bill as an amendment to the annual defense legislation. Congress has consistently passed it for over 5 decades now. And that track record makes Chairman Gray optimistic. Maybe because past efforts by Montana's congressional delegation to pass this as a standalone bill have failed. But Gray expects this version to pass in the House. And if it does, this is the kind of impact he says it'll have.
This is going to provide for future generations. It's going to ensure things like our culture, traditions, and, the Little Shell Indian way of life continues to thrive.
He says this bill would open up federal funding for things like health care and housing. Tester's office says the next hurdle will be getting it through a series of votes in the Senate. I'm Olivia Reingold.
Protests erupted on social media this week when Netflix announced it's canceling a show that featured a Native American actress among the leads, an extremely rare thing in mainstream television. Indian Country Today reported Chambers would not be returning for a second season. The supernatural thriller featured San Carlos Apache actress Sivan Alira Rose as a young Navajo woman who experiences visions after she receives a heart transplant. Under the hashtag #SaveChambers, fans tweeted their anger at Netflix for dumping a show with positive representations of Native Americans. Comments also pointed out ongoing diversity issues that came to light at Netflix after the company released Adam Sandler's Ridiculous Six. Several Indigenous directors and writers worked on Chambers. It also featured Native actors Marcus Lavoie and Griffin Powell-Arkent. The decision by Netflix came 1 week after the company announced partnerships with Indigenous screen organizations in Canada. For National Native News, I'm Megan Kamrick in for Antonia Gonzalez.
National Native News is produced by Koahnic Broadcast Corporation with funding by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Support by the Wheelwright Museum, New Mexico's oldest nonprofit independent museum. The Wheelwright presents exhibitions of contemporary and iconic Native art, and there is no charge for Native visitors. Info at wheelwright.org.
My day one.
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 Day one. Telling inspiring stories of alcohol recovery. Recovery works. Hope starts here. Go to recoveralaska.org to learn more.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.